Dawn of a Nation, the first constitution, from 1949 to 1956. Pakistan gained independence in 1947, marking the birth of a new nation. The new nation needed a constitution to guide its future. This was a time of hope, ambition, and uncertainty. After much debate and deliberation, the first constitution was adopted in 1956. It declared Pakistan an Islamic republic, reflecting the nation's identity. It established a parliamentary system of government, aiming for democratic governance. The 1956 constitution was a landmark achievement in Pakistan's history. It represented the aspirations of a newly independent nation. However, it was short-lived due to political challenges. Political instability plagued the young nation, causing unrest. The constitution struggled to take root amidst the chaos. Factions within the government clashed frequently. The dream of a stable democracy seemed elusive and distant. The first constitution, though flawed, set the stage for Pakistan's constitutional journey and future governance. It laid the groundwork for future attempts to establish a democratic order, paving the way for subsequent constitutions. Turbulence and transition. Martial law and the 1962 Constitution. Political turmoil engulfed Pakistan in the late 1950s, with widespread protests and civil unrest. The government struggled to maintain control amidst the growing chaos and instability. Amidst the chaos, General Ayub Khan seized power in 1958 through a military coup. This marked the beginning of Pakistan's first military rule, a significant shift in the nation's governance. Khan introduced a new constitution in 1962, aiming to stabilize the country. This constitution abolished the parliamentary system, fundamentally altering the political landscape. It replaced it with a presidential system, allowing Khan to consolidate his power further. He ruled as president for over a decade, implementing various policies and reforms. His rule, though authoritarian, saw some economic progress, with infrastructure projects and industrial growth. However, it also suppressed dissent, with political freedoms being severely curtailed. The 1962 Constitution further cemented the military's role in Pakistani politics, making it a dominant force. This set a dangerous precedent for future interventions, impacting the country's democratic evolution. A New Hope. The 1973 Constitution and Parliamentary Democracy. The 1971 war with India led to the secession of East Pakistan, a significant and painful event in the nation's history. It was a time of national trauma and reflection. From the ashes of defeat emerged a new constitution in 1973, a beacon of hope for a fractured nation. This constitution marked a return to parliamentary democracy. It was framed by an elected assembly representing the will of the people. The 1973 Constitution was widely hailed as a landmark achievement. It enshrined fundamental rights and aimed to protect the freedoms of all citizens. It aimed to establish a balance of power between different institutions, ensuring no single entity could dominate the political landscape. The Constitution recognized Pakistan's multi-ethnic and multicultural society, celebrating its rich diversity. It aimed to ensure the rights of minorities, promoting equality and justice for all. The 1973 Constitution, despite its challenges and amendments over the years, remains the cornerstone of Pakistan's legal framework today, guiding the nation towards a democratic future. The Zia era, the Eighth Amendment, and the shift in power. The hope ushered in by the 1973 Constitution was short-lived. General Zia-ul-Haq seized power in 1977. His rule marked a dark chapter in Pakistan's history. Zia's regime was characterized by Islamization and authoritarianism. He introduced the controversial Eighth Amendment to the Constitution. The Eighth Amendment granted sweeping powers to the president. It allowed the president to dissolve the National Assembly. This amendment tipped the balance of power in favor of the president. It undermined the principle of parliamentary sovereignty. Zia's rule had a lasting impact on Pakistan's political landscape. His legacy continues to cast a shadow on the country's democratic development. Section 5. Return to Democracy. A rocky path from 1988 to 1999. Zia's death in 1988 paved the way for the return of democracy. Benazir Bhutto became the first female prime minister of a Muslim-majority country. However, the road to democracy proved to be bumpy. The period between 1988 and 1999 witnessed frequent dismissals of elected governments. Political instability and corruption plagued the country. The military continued to wield significant influence behind the scenes. Despite the challenges, this period saw some positive developments. Freedom of the press expanded. Civil society organizations emerged. The struggle for democracy continued. Section 6. The 13th Amendment and its Repercussions. In 1997, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif pushed through the 13th Amendment. This amendment stripped the President of the power to dissolve the National Assembly. It aimed to strengthen Parliament and curb the President's powers. However, the amendment backfired. It created a rift between Sharif and the then Army Chief, General Pervez Musharraf. This ultimately led to the military coup in 1999. The 13th Amendment, though well-intentioned, had unintended consequences. It highlighted the fragility of Pakistan's democratic institutions. Section 7. The Musharraf Years. The 17th Amendment and its legacy. General Musharraf's coup in 1999 ushered in another period of military rule. Musharraf introduced the 17th Amendment to the Constitution. This amendment granted the President sweeping powers. The 17th Amendment allowed the President to appoint key officials. It gave him control over the judiciary. Musharraf's rule saw a mix of economic growth and political repression. He introduced some liberal reforms, but also cracked down on dissent. The 17th Amendment further tilted the balance of power in favor of the President. It undermined the principle of separation of powers. Section 8. Democracy Restored. The 18th Amendment and Provincial Autonomy. Musharraf's rule came to an end in 2008. Free and fair elections were held. The Pakistan People's Party formed the government. The new government embarked on a process of constitutional reform. The 18th Amendment, passed in 2010, was a landmark achievement. It reversed many of the authoritarian features introduced by previous military rulers. The 18th Amendment abolished the President's power to dissolve Parliament. It restored the balance of power between the executive and legislative branches. The amendment also devolved significant powers to the provinces. This was a major step towards greater provincial autonomy. Section 9. Constitutional Challenges and the Road Ahead, 2018 to 2023. Pakistan's constitutional journey continues to evolve. The country faces numerous challenges. These include political polarization, economic instability, and security threats. In recent years, there have been growing concerns about the role of the military in politics. The judiciary has also come under scrutiny. The balance of power between different institutions remains a key issue. Pakistan's constitution has been amended numerous times. This has raised questions about its sanctity. The future of Pakistan's constitutional journey hinges on the ability of its leaders to uphold the rule of law. Section 10. Conclusion: the enduring legacy of Pakistan's constitutional journey. Pakistan's constitutional journey has been marked by both progress and setbacks. From the optimism of the first constitution to the challenges of the present day, the country has witnessed a constant struggle for democracy and the rule of law. The constitution, despite its flaws, remains a symbol of the aspirations of the Pakistani people. It represents their desire for a just and equitable society. The road ahead for Pakistan is fraught with challenges. However, the country's rich constitutional history offers valuable lessons. It underscores the importance of dialogue, compromise, and respect for the rule of law,